You're standing in the middle of the store and your kid just launched a shoe across the aisle because you said no to the $4 slime again. Everyone's staring, your heart is pounding, and your brain, well, your brain just left the building. Welcome back to what used to be the Rewired Parent, but I'm broadening out this podcast to now the Rewired Collective, which includes parents, caregivers, but also teachers, educators, school and district leaders, and health professionals. And this is episode 20. And I can't believe we're here. I mean, 20 episodes of showing up, getting honest, doing the work that nobody handed us a manual for. And it was interesting. I looked this up. They say that only 1% of podcasts make it to 20 episodes. So if you've been here since episode 1, or even if this is your very first listen, you're exactly where you need to be. And welcome to the 1%. Today, we are going all the way in on something I know you felt but maybe never had the language for, and that is why your body betrays you in the exact moment your kid needs you most. Why you freeze, why you fix, why you clamp down with control when everything inside you is screaming, and more importantly, how we rewire it. So buckle up. This one's going to hit different. Before we get into the science, before we get into the strategy, I need to say something and I need you to actually receive it. Not just hear it, you need to receive it. You are parenting, you are teaching, you are leading, you are practicing in an era with less structural support than any generation before you. Okay? With less structural support than any generation before you. Let this land on you. Our grandparents maybe had a village, and our parents had to, you know, afford more things, housing, childcare, food. We have the smartphone full of conflicting advice, a system that really wasn't designed to support us, and the emotional weight of trying to raise emotionally healthy humans while we are unpacking our own stuff. So, if you've ever looked at yourself in the mirror after a hard moment with a child, a neurodivergent child particularly, and thought, what's wrong with me? I need you to hear me say this: nothing, nothing, nothing is wrong with you. You are a nervous system trying to do the hardest job on the planet with less support than ever. And the fact that you're here listening, trying to learn and grow, well, that's not the bare minimum. That's pretty damn remarkable. But here's where I'm going to push you gently with love, but I'm going to push you. Awareness without action is just guilt with extra steps. I got to repeat that. Awareness without action is just guilt with extra steps. So today we're moving past awareness into action, into rewiring. So are you with me? All right, good. So last week, I ran a poll in my stories and I asked a really simple question. When your kid, and I'm speaking primarily to parents, but educators, teachers, therapists, listen in. When your kid is in full meltdown mode, what's your default? And I get 3 options: fix it, control it, or freeze. And the responses, I think, exposed all of us in the best way possible. And here's what we saw: that the majority of you said, what do you think? Yeah, freeze. And a solid chunk said control. And there was the fix it crowd, the let me make this feeling go away as fast as humanly possible crew. And honestly, I have lived in all 3 of those houses. And I don't like timeshares, but I have a timeshare in each one. But here's what I want you to understand. And this is the part nobody talks about. When a child melts down, your brain does not interpret it as this child is having a difficult time. Your brain interprets it as what? A threat. And your amygdala, that little almond-shaped alarm system deep in your brain, it goes off. And when it goes off, it doesn't send a memo to your thinking prefrontal cortex logic center saying, hey, should we think about this rationally first? No, what it does is the amygdala pulls the emergency brake and it hijacks the whole system. So when you freeze in the middle of a meltdown, which I've done plenty of times, that's not weakness. That's your amygdala saying, I've encountered a threat and I'm shutting down non essential operations. When you go straight into that control mode, barking the orders, counting to 3 with that voice, saying, you better listen to me or else, that's fight mode. And your nervous system is choosing fight mode in that moment. And if you're scrambling for the fix it, I got to fix this right now, like, shoving the iPad, offering candy, saying, you're fine, there's nothing to be upset about. Okay, okay, okay. That's your nervous system trying to neutralize the threat as fast as possible so that you, the adult, can regulate. So I'm wondering if you just caught that most of our immediate responses to our kids' meltdowns are not actually about them. They're about us trying to get our own nervous system back online, back into regulation. And we are not in that moment responding to our child, we are reacting to our own discomfort. And that's not a judgment, that's just our biology. And once you see it and you become aware of it, then you can't unsee it. And once you can't unsee it, then you can start some real change. So, that right there, that's what we're building towards on March 21st at 10 a.m. Pacific in the Rewire the Response Masterclass. But I'll tell you more about that in a minute. So, let's keep going here. Now, again, I don't know how much you're following. If you're not following on socials, get on socials, follow me. All right. So, in my reel last week, or maybe it was earlier this week, I can't even remember. I broke down kind of what's going on in the brain, just like I did here. And if you didn't see it, it's okay because I will walk you through it right now as if you were sitting right here and we were having a conversation. So picture this, your child's brain, your student's brain, your client's brain. I want you to imagine it in two parts, and it's a lot more complex than that. So all my neuroscience friends and neurobiologists are going to say, no, 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 we're making this too simple. But we gotta clarify here. We gotta make a simple model. And so you have this downstairs brain, they call it. And in fact, I think it was this week when I was watching Next Level Chef with Gordon Ramsay that I thought, oh, maybe that's three parts. So maybe we can imagine it three parts. We'll do three parts because I like Next Level Chef. So you have the basement kitchen. That's the bare essential kitchen there. That's like our brainstem. That's just the survival center. That's where the body knows when we need to breathe, keeps our heart pumping, so on and so forth. And then we have like the middle level, which is like the catering kitchen, right? That's the limbic system, our amygdala, some other parts to that. And that's where the fight, flight, or freeze and fawn live. And this part of the brain, that middle section there of the next level kitchen, it's fully online from birth and it works quickly and it works efficiently and it does not negotiate. Then you have that upstairs brain, right? The prefrontal cortex, which is in Next Level Chef, like the highest, professional kitchen. But unfortunately, it's like survival and the amygdala and limbic system and prefrontal cortex aren't really like one's more important than the other. We need all of them to function and to be regulated. But just for the sake of illustration, that's kind of like the air traffic control center, the CEO of the brain. There's lots of analogies for it, but that's where reasoning logic mostly lives. That's where empathy, impulse control, executive functions like problem solving, goal setting, attention, emotional regulation, impulse control. Oh, I already said that. The ability to say, you know what, I'm upset right now and I'm really pissed, but I am going to use my words calmly. And this is the part that all of us are trying to activate and appeal to in the middle of a child's meltdown. But here's the problem. In kids, that upstairs top level brain is not fully developed until their mid 20s. And if they are neurodivergent ADHD on the spectrum, so on and so forth, then it could even take longer. So there's a lag there. And please get that, especially for the people in the back. The part of your child's brain that you are deeply desiring and begging to come online when they're losing it at the grocery store over the $4 slime is literally still under construction. It's like that building with the scaffolding all around it, and you're asking them to operate from something that isn't fully constructed yet. It's like from a room that doesn't have all the walls set yet. And then here's where it gets personal, though. When your child's downstairs or middle level brain fires and they start screaming, they start hitting, they start throwing, they start going rigid, guess what? That bottom level there on the next level chef, your survival mode, and then the middle level, that amygdala, it gets the signal right away. And what we call mirror neurons start activating, and your amygdala picks up the alarm. And now both of you are in that same dysregulated state. You're both in that place where you are not going to teach, correct, or connect. So the threat level response cycle looks like this. A child dysregulates, our nervous system activates, we react from our own dysregulation. We want to fix, we want to control, we want to shut down. And this causes the child to feel more unsafe because the person who's supposed to be their anchor just went adrift. And when the child escalates, we escalate and or shut down further, rinse and repeat, and the cycle feeds itself. And so breaking the cycle doesn't start with the kid. It starts with you, the grown up, the adult. It starts with your ability to notice, to recognize in real time. You know what? My alarm system is going off big time, and I need to choose a different next step, not a perfect one, just a different one and a conscious one. Now you say, okay, David, you said if the amygdala is firing, prefrontal cortex is not as capable of accessing. So wait a minute, what are you saying? Well, one is as an adult, we have or should have a further developed prefrontal cortex. And secondly, we can actually train it to and rewire it. So when that alarm goes off, we have an in place go to skill. And it's not a personality trait. It's not, some people are more patient and more logical than others. It's not something you either have or you don't have. It's something you build, you train, you rewire it. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you at the Rewire the Response Masterclass on March 21st. Okay, so let me give you a little teaser here real quick because I know we're running out of time. I want you to think now about that cycle I just told you of. And I want you to understand why you're reacting the way that you do. So how can we rewire the response? What can we do instead? And so through research, through experience, through all of this, have developed the Rewire the Response framework, which is basically 6 E's, letter E's. And I'm going to walk you through them real quick so that way you kind of get a sense of what they are. And then I will expand upon these in a couple weeks with you after you sign up for this masterclass. So let's say it's time, I'm going to go in a parent mode here. It's time to leave the park. Your child doesn't want to leave the park, they make it abundantly clear. They start screaming, no, no, no. They start running around the whole park as you're trying to chase them. And, it's everybody's looking at you, right? And so you're thinking, okay, what am I going to do here? Right. And then maybe they might go, totally limp on the wood chips. I don't know. And you think, oh man, I'm never going to get out of here. So here's the 6 E's quickly. So E number 1 is embrace. This is where it starts with you, not them. You embrace the idea of what's happening in your own body first. You're aware that your chest is getting tight, your jaw is clenching, you're scanning for who's watching, you're feeling your temperature rise because you're embarrassed, you're frustrated, and you feel like your heart, or you're getting just angry. And so embrace means you don't shove it down, you just give it a name, right? You name it to tame it. I'm activated right now. I know my alarm is going off, but I am safe. And right now, if it's true, my child is safe. This is hard, but this is not an emergency. Inner narration. Okay, we're embracing this and we're embracing the fact that it is also difficult for our child in the moment because they just are enjoying themselves at the park. Then you go to number two, which is engage. You turn, not with a lecture, not with a countdown, not with, you got 3 seconds right now to get over here or else. You lead with presence, right? You get low. You might even, if they are comfortable with it, you might even just touch their back, but you signal with your body that I'm here. I see your feelings are big. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not getting upset at them. This is all about proximity and safety. You're not solving the problem yet. You're just showing up. Then you go to the third E, which is enhance, which is that you narrate their experience to them. You talk, your nervous system is talking to their nervous system in action. And in very simple words, again, we're not using complex logic. We're not saying, how come you didn't, you know, that when, I tell you something, and so why are you doing this? No, that's not going to help. Just say, I see you're upset and I know you're having a lot of fun and don't want to leave. And I know it's hard to stop something you love and I get it. So what you're doing is you're giving them and enhancing their emotional vocabulary. You're putting words to the tornado, the storm that's inside of them. And here's the magic. When we, even a child, feels heard and understood, they feel seen, safe, and supported, their nervous system begins to settle. And it's not because you fixed it, but that they felt authentically seen, safe, and supported. Now you can move into the last three E's, which are equip. You can offer tools. Would you like to take 3 deep breaths with me? Would you like to squeeze my hand really tight right now? Would you like to help me see a couple things and see what we can find real quick as we're beginning to make our way out? They might tell you no, no. Then you go back to engage and enhance. But usually that chemical flood in their brain caused by the amygdala is going to last about 90 seconds, okay? So this is where we equip them not only in the moment, but we can do this even before we get to the park, okay? So a lot of times we are responding to a meltdown with reactivity, but we also need to equip ourselves and our kids to be more proactive. Okay. So that they know what's going to go on. They know what's going to expect. They still aren't going to like it, but you're equipping them, you're letting them know. And the best time even to equip with some of these regulation strategies is not in the moment. Okay. It's hard to do in the moment, but you can as long as you stop lecturing and you really have a calm nervous system. And then you can empower. E number 5. Okay. Would you like to walk to the car? Would you like me to carry you, depending on how old they are? Would you like to say goodbye to the slide or to the swings first? This is voice and choice. This is empowering a child with age appropriate choices within the boundaries. The boundaries don't move. We're still leaving the park. But within that boundary, they have a voice. And that matters more than adults realize because now they're not feeling controlled or manipulated. They are feeling some sense of control over their own lives. And that is a powerful thing, especially for neurodivergent kids or kids that have experienced trauma in their past. And then lastly, we embody it, right? We look for the long game, okay? The end game. Embody is what's going to happen when you practice this over and over again, and it stops becoming a checklist that you have to think about, and it becomes who you are. And it's when your child melts down and your first instinct shifts from freeze to presence, from control to curiosity, from correction to connection, from fix it to feeling it together. And embody is the goal. And it's not going to be perfect and it's not going to always work because it's a pattern change, it's a lifestyle change. Now, what I walked you through, again, it's pretty clean and neat now. And I know in real life it's messy. I know that as a parent. I know that as a teacher. I know that in the classroom. And in real life, the first either embrace might take you 4 minutes while your kid is still screaming and somebody at the park is giving you that nasty look. You know what I'm talking about. Don't give that look to other parents, please. So in real life, though, you might skip to E4, which is the equip, and then circle back. Doesn't matter. It's not a performance, it's a practice. So, whew, that's a lot. I know. And you may have to go back and listen to this again. But 20 episodes deep. And I'm telling you, I'm more fired up than ever. And this is what I want to leave you with today. You're not broken for freezing, and you're not a bad parent for defaulting to control. Sometimes we need that control because there may be a dangerous situation if we don't get our kids moving. But you're not failing because your first instinct is to try to fix it and make the noise stop. You are a human with a nervous system that was wired by your childhood, your experiences, your unprocessed stuff. But that wiring, fancy word neuroplasticity, it can be changed. And that's exactly what we're doing on March 21st. So pull out your calendar, pull out your phone, your app, whatever it is. I need you to mark down on your calendar, first and foremost, March 21st, 10 a.m. Pacific. And it's the Rewire the Response Master class. And this is the live training where you go deep with me into the science of strategy, real-time practice of starting to break some of these default reaction cycles and respond with connection, correction, and compassion. I'm going to give it to you all, and we're going to do it, and it's more than I could ever do in one of these episodes. You don't have to turn your camera on. You don't have to say anything. You can just type the chat, or you can just sit there. Doesn't matter. But it's just $9. That's it, $9. And I priced it this way on purpose because I don't want the cost to be the reason you may stay stuck in a cycle that doesn't serve you or your children. So $9 to fundamentally shift how you show up in the hardest moments of parenting. The link is in the show notes. If you want to go directly there, the link is in the bio. You can just go to drdavidapalmer.com. I just put it up on the homepage, top there, hero section. It's there. Tell a friend, bring your partner, bring your mom. I don't care. Just get into that room on March 21st. So thanks so much for these 20 episodes. Thank you for trusting me with your time, with your growth. I'm looking forward to lots more episodes to come up. And your trust and respect is something that I do not take lightly. And so I will see you then in the next podcast. And I think if I'm lucky, I hopefully will see you there on March 21st. So keep rewiring. Remember the three essential things, right? It's recognize, rewire, respond. And I'll see you next time.